Hello, everyone. My name is Lars Hauer. This is On the Fringes of Sound, and today we are talking to Petridisch, or is it Petridisch?
It's Petridisch.
Petridisch.
It
All
is.
right. Or, as we know him, Thor. How you doing, Thor?
Doing well. Doing very well this evening, actually. How are you doing, Lars?
I mean, I'm empty, but I think
Ah,
I'll be fine.
I feel like I'm almost full cup of tea here, so we're good on this end at least.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I gotta keep in supply. It
Yeah.
soothes the soul at this point in time. All right. So starting off with your newest album. So I found it was like really varied and really eclectic. And like I was saying earlier, track 3 completely threw me for a loop with the just vocals just out of nowhere. But like throughout the album, there's a lot of like vocal type sounds going on. So I mean, what was your inspiration behind making this album, and what was the general concept that you had in mind when you were making it?
Okay. Well, I'll get to that in like a minute, but I just wanted to say right away that that's very perceptive of you to pick up that almost all of the tracks have vocal sound.
I know it's almost
I
like
didn't
I
even realize
listened.
that myself until I was actually like going through the tracks in my head, and I'm like,
Mhm.
yeah, okay. There's vocal sample here. There's a vocal sample there. I think
Yeah.
it's just the etude number 9 that doesn't have any vocal sample.
Yes, I did
But
notice
okay,
that as well.
yeah. But as far as a concept for the album, this is one of the first that didn't really have a concept beforehand. These are all the first side of it is just songs. They're like individual cells,
Mhm.
and within those cells, within those songs, there are stories. There are narratives, but there was no grand scheme making this record, and there never really is, except in rare instances of Petridisch. I just
Right.
write and record and try things out, and they stick or they don't stick.
Right.
But with this one, I did want to express more of myself, like my actual self, my the humorous self. I really wanted to get that right up front. So there were a lot of things on that record that I find very funny.
Which part, like, what's personally funny to you on the
Okay,
album?
so
Like for me, it was definitely track 3, like, because
track
I
three is
don't know what
hilarious
she's
to me.
talking about, but it just seems to kind of come out of nowhere.
Track 3 is hilarious to me. That's one of the ones where those samples are they're from like the Great British Baking Show, and there was this one episode where Paul Hollywood gave the contestants this technical challenge that no one had ever heard of, didn't know what it looked like, didn't know how to,
Mhm.
and they were called flaunas. And and the hosts, Mel and Sue, I guess, took the opportunity to insert saying flaunas as weirdly and as differently with different intonations as possible throughout the episode. So, and then there's this one in that song is the sample where it's like the way you say it, it sounds like an insult. Yeah.
Okay, I've never watched that show, but that makes perfect sense actually.
And then
Like,
there's that synth solo that's like near the end of the song. There's just like where this wave is just going up and then down into like sub frequencies and then back
mhm.
up to like where you can't hear it and then back down again. The last track as well, Latkes, is funny to me as well because that's those vocal
Potato
samples are
pancakes.
actually those are from Lamb Chops, Hanukkah Surprise. It's a DVD from the 90s, and Sherry Lewis, the children's entertainer from back when. And there was just this one scene in it. It's like star-studded, like Pat Morita's in it. That's actually the samples are from the scene with Pat Morita playing
Mhm.
Super Ninja, who is a video game character that Charlie the horse, creates and comes to life out of the computer and destroys
Mhm.
everything around him. And then he goes for the kitchen, and that at the very end of the song, not the kitchen, not the pots, not the latkes, and then Lamb Chop is flailing around on screen holding the plate. She says, no, 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 let go of the plate. Those are my latkes. You cannot have them. That's actually what's looped at the end of the album, is that these are my latkes. You can't have them.
So you get your samples from quite a variety of sources.
Yeah.
Both those tracks make perfect sense now that you explained it. Because at first listening to it, it's like you don't really have any idea what's going on, but you know it's zany. That's all you can tell. It's just like something weird is going on here. I don't know what this is. Just no context vocal clips. Flaunas.
Yes, flaunas.
Bravo.
There was also one influence, a band's influence on that, on the Locus track, actually, which actually was the first track I wrote for the record. A band called Donna Regina. They're a German group, still active, but mainly they were like late 90s, 2000s. I guess it could be described as indie-tronic at the time. That was like sort of electronic music with indie influences, indie rock influences, indie music influences.
This was like years, this was years before bands like MGMT and stuff.
Yeah. Donna Regina's been around for a long time, and they just they have a certain way of building up a song, and it's just like for that track I was like I'm gonna do the Donna Regina, build it up real slow as they do, and put the drum in at a weird point. Yeah.
Okay.
And that track has a constant kick too, kick drum, like boom, 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 boom. And Donna Regina does that as well in a lot of their songs. It's kind of their trademark, and it's like I'm gonna try something out with that just because I love their sound so much. But that's like, as far as influences and the samples again, influenced the songs. I kind of wrote. I can either write around the sample or the sample comes at the very end. But with this album, the samples kind of came first, and I sort of wrote around those. And it's a lot of inspiration from like pop culture and past pop culture. That shows up a lot in my music. Actually, there's a lot of like pop culture stuff, mostly past. But
gotcha.
But yeah, that it really kind of informs the work I do.
A sense of nostalgia, kind of.
Yeah, maybe it is. It is a lot of stuff from my childhood years and my teen years that I can tend to explore in there. So at least with samples, it's a lot of stuff that I took in when I was a kid. So kind of funny, kind of.
I didn't really pick up on that in your music before because for me it's like I'm just listening to the music, and like I just kind of take it at face value unless it's something I also recognize. When somebody uses a very particular sample, it's just like I know where that's from.
Yeah. I personally love that whole, like, when I can recognize a sample, I think it's the best thing ever. I have gotten looks from like the vaporwave crowd when I'm sitting there pointing out, I know that sample, and they're like,
everybody knows the sample. Shut up.
It's true. It's true. Yeah. I had a viewpoint that it wasn't as well informed. The vaporwave wasn't as well informed as it is. That people are just taking songs. But when they do take songs, they generally know a lot about what they're taking from. And it's like that artist Cat System Corp put out an album called Sandra Wave, which was Sandra, the pop star from the 80s, pre-Enigma. It was like the guy from Enigma, Michael Cretu. It was what he did before Enigma. And yeah, Cat System Corp just basically slowed down a bunch of Sander tracks and did stuff over it. It was just really cool to hear. I thought that it's one of my favorites actually from that whole movement. Yeah, I think mainly, inspiration from the pop culture, from my brain, from people like, someone like Philip Glass is always going to show up in my music because I've listened to him for years, and that was hearing him and hearing Wendy Carlos when I was a teenager. That those two people probably inform my music the most in general. Yeah, I have to say that. And there's, of course, Mr. Glass's stuff. I kind of not steal, but I'm influenced. I'm influenced.
His influence shows up in your music. You definitely don't steal. Of course not. Musicians don't steal. Come on now. So, talking about like your newest album as well, like, so most of your previous releases, you seem to like self-release through your own label, Fish Prince.
Yeah.
So, but with this one, you partnered with a label out of, I believe they were out of Belgium
Bulgaria.
or Bulgaria. Bulgaria.
Yeah.
Yes. Majorca.
Yep.
So, how did you come about working with them on this release?
I have known Ivo, who owns Majorca. I've known him ever since like 2017 or so. He was just someone who I knew through I Heart Noise, and
Okay.
and he would send us codes and stuff, and I always thought the music that he put out was really cool. And him and I would talk every so often over the years, and in one conversation which happened sometime late last year, he just out of nowhere said, "Do Petridisch on Majorca?" Question mark. And I said, I'll see about that. We'll see. And then when I finished writing and recording X Straight, I just thought that what I was doing on that record would be really appropriate for that label. Just given that they mainly put out experimental electronic, and also it's like Fish Prince, just kind of there's rock music on that label, there's guitar music on that label, there's electronics on that label, there's noise on that label. I felt the kind of kinship, and so I was actually going to initially release it on Fish Prince just anyway, but then I remembered that I had kind of said maybe to Majorca, so I submitted the album to Ivo, and which was he was on it right away, which was awesome. That was just awesome. We did tape pressing, and
I saw that.
It, and it's just really it just seemed right to have that record be on that label, to me at least. And having talked to him over the years, I have a feeling of what he's like and how he does things, and it all seemed to work, or that it would work. And
so, talking about Fish Prince, like the most recent release you have on Fish Prince is Carl Stasium's side project, Dystopia.
Right.
A lot of other varied releases. So I've noticed that a lot of the stuff on Fish Prince, it's a little bit of everything on Fish Prince. It's like you were saying, like there's noise, there's electronic, there's like guitar music, there's rock, there's all kinds of stuff. So what are you usually looking for when deciding whether you're going to release it on the label? Is it just you hear it and it's like, oh yeah, I really like this, I want to put it out?
There's definitely an element of that. I mean, of course, I mean, I feel like if I don't like 100% love it, then I can't put 100% behind it.
Mm-hmm.
And so if it's not something that I'm like going crazy over, and then I would generally, like, what I would do is direct to other labels, even like suggestions, just say, either, lately it's been my release schedule is full, so here are some other labels you might want to try, and that's it seems to be hopefully the right way to do it, or a right way to do it. And people seem really grateful, at least that I'm even like, because I listen to all the demos that I get, and I give feedback of sorts. But it usually either goes one way. It's like either I'm going to release this or I can't right now. Obviously that's the two things you got there. But yeah, other than the fact that I feel like I have to really like resonate with it myself, I just if I can do something with it with what I know and my means of getting music out there, if I think I can help someone, be heard, through fish prints, and they send me an awesome demo, most likely I'm going to release it.
So like, let's say somebody sends you a demo is there like any kind of genre of music that you would not want to put out on fish prints? Like,
that's interesting. It's, I would say I'm not really afraid of any genres. It's more of like, I wouldn't put out stuff with like crappy ideologies.
Okay.
But as far as genre goes, I'm not really shut off to anything. Like I said, if someone sends me something that and I love it, then I'll see if I can, do something with it, or if I think I can do something with it, I'll offer release.
Somebody sends you like the best country album you've ever heard in your life.
Okay. See, you've hit on something now. I was actually asked to release someone's country album recently, and really? I probably am. So,
can you tell us any more?
Yeah, my friend Matt, who works as Albinotron, or did work as Albinotron, or is at least on pause with it right now. He's saying that he wrote to me and he said he wants to do a country album. We're just talking. And he sent me some clips of him playing songs, and they're actually really good. So okay. I'm all in, basically.
Okay. So what would be the timeline on this one getting released? This one's not coming like this year or anything, right?
Oh no, I think it would be sometime next year. If he's just started writing songs for it now, and I think he's just sort of playing around, just sort of getting a feel for dipping into music again after not doing it for like a year or two. Yeah, so hopefully that'll happen. Hopefully he'll finish it and come back. That'd be great.
That is interesting. I was not expecting that answer when I asked that question.
I wasn't expecting to hear country music from Albinotron, but here we are.
I feel like maybe kind of should have expected it, but I know it's like a remote possibility. So while we're talking about like, this possible album coming up, a country album of all things.
Yeah.
Interesting. So what else is in the near future for Fish Prince and for Petridisch?
Oh, for Petridisch or for Fish?
Yeah, for Petridisch. Let's start with what's in the near future for Petridisch.
All right. So X-Straight is being re-released through the label as a split release with Mahorka on mini disc. In a few months, I might actually do a CD of it because I love CDs. I mean the real deal CD, like the glass mastered silver CD.
Yeah.
CDR.
Gotcha.
No, CDRs are fine. In fact, I get really frustrated when people kind of frown at CDRs because it's like bit for bit perfect, yeah. But I mean, I guess I understand that, growing up with record stores and CDs, you buy CDs and they have a silver bottom, and that's the real deal. It's like having a press LP.
Me personally, it's like I still like cassette tapes. They're still my favorite format.
That's and so it's
like,
cool.
But it's like I don't feel nostalgic about CDs at this point in time. And it's kind of like, but it's the best audio quality. It's just like, yeah, if I want the best audio quality, I'll just download a FLAC.
Digital.
Yeah. Like, give me a nice lossless audio file. That's better than a CD. I want the cassette for that nostalgic hum. That.
Oh, cool. No, I like that too.
Yeah,
I'm going to be doing a bunch of more cassettes actually. Not as much Petridisch, but Fish Prince. But But
Awesome.
X-Straight is coming out, and on Fish Prince, it's going to be a different version. A friend of mine, who works under the name Omni, my friend Emmanuel, I sent him the record, mastered. It was already mastered and everything. I sent him the record. I'm like, oh no, I want to know what you think of it. And he writes me back and he says, these songs are separated, and it breaks my concentration. And do you want me? Can I try and make a continuous mix of this record? And I said, yeah, of course. That's so cool for someone to offer. Just like, I'd love to hear it. I want to hear it. And he actually stepped in and he created transitions and it's the songs, but it's almost an entirely different listening experience.
So that's kind of like a almost like a DJ kind of mix of the album.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, continuous mix. Yeah, it's really fun. It's quite a trip, and I can't wait to share that version with people too. So So that's coming out. That's what I have planned for Fish Prince for myself. I don't know what I'm doing after this. I never do.
Fair enough.
After I finish an album, it almost feels like it's the last one every time. And so for me, there needs to be that. It's gonna sound funny, but month break or something like that, and
right.
It's not that long, a month of not writing music, but after a while it just comes back again, and I'm writing, and I will write an album. That's how it works for me. It's either I don't have much creativity or it's full on, and I'm writing songs. Yeah.
Gotcha. So what do you have coming up on Fish Prince? I know before the interview we're saying you have a really special release coming out in the future.
Did not expect. In January. And that's actually got a set date, January 2024. Going to be the brand new double album by Barbara Morgan. That's going to be there. That is, she already sent me the record. It's unmastered, but she sent me the record. And it looks like most of the tracks were mixed twice. Maybe they did 3 mixes of a song, because each mix that's there is mixed 1, mixed 2, mixed 1, mixed 1, mixed 2, mixed 1. Not really a mix, maybe a mix 3 somewhere, but they did this really quick. It's so fantastic to kind of hear a little more hope in her music right now. It's a lot more optimistic than her last album, I think. The last album was very dark, very very, 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 very moody. It's my favorite one of hers. Is that last one, the really dark and moody one. That's the one that I gravitate towards the most. But yeah, her new one will be coming out through Fish Prince, and we've been talking about, knock on my hand here, but hopefully she can get a touring grant from Goethe Institute in Germany, and maybe we'll see her over here, which would be cool.
Wow.
Yeah. But that's something we understand the reality of that, and
touring is expensive.
She even told me the only way she could do it is if she got a touring grant, but she's gonna try for it. So
yeah, touring's very expensive.
Very expensive. Yeah, especially with a band of 6. She said 6 people, coming over from Germany, so that
probably a lot of gear to haul around too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. This is an all acoustic band.
Maybe she could just take a slow boat all the way across the Atlantic, No, we're going to do a 3-year tour. The first year is all travel across the Atlantic.
She seems pretty adventurous, and willing to do things, and I can see her doing that actually in some universe. But what else?
Is there anything coming up on Fish Prince in the near future? I know that one's about a year
off. There's going to be the first full length from Jacuzzi Twins, who released an EP of theirs in, I want to say 2020.
Wow.
But it's they like to play with samples too, and they generally do like kind of homages to like house music and rave music,
But
and
not like straight up house and rave music, but just kind of like
kind of
or
use elements from the like sounds and elements from that whole deal, and kind of like through their filter, you know. It's
oh, okay, I gotcha.
yeah. Um, it's psychedelic, a bit psychedelic in the way that like it's a little druggy, but in you know, I'm not saying that as a negative.
Oh no, like I said, I like drugs.
Yeah.
Who doesn't like drugs?
Let's see. Okay. Oh, you know, My Name is Blue Sky also recently sent me something to be released, and I'm hopefully going to be putting that out sooner than later. He has a, a deal in the UK with the label. They're putting out a tape of the album, so I'm guessing it's still in the discussion with how are we going to release it, but his new album is going to be coming out in some form.
Okay.
I have the full length, the only full length by Oof is coming out as well. They were a band. They were actually Barbara Morgenstern was in that band.
Your brother was telling me about Oof.
Oh, they're great.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. They the thing about them that really attracted me, not only just the length of Barbara Morgenstern, but you know, she played organ and in that band and did some backing vocals. And it what struck me about them was how much that album like is influenced by people like Frank Black, Pixies. Like it's this Pixies sound, but you know it's in German, and the lyrics don't, as from what I'm told and from what I can translate, they don't mean too much. You know, it's a lot of wordplay, and
Okay.
it's just that silliness mixed with this like precision in composition and playing and production. And it has a very big label sound. And actually, the album was released on a label previously in Germany in 1995.
Okay.
And kind of very luckily, those ties to the majors and the publishing companies, like they don't exist anymore, the label nor the publisher.
Right.
So it's pretty much a go ahead, you know, for Fishprints to reissue it. So as soon as I got that go ahead, I did ask. I was like, no, we got to make sure that this is good to do, you know. And I was
Okay.
okay. We did try, and the companies are gone. So and he actually talked to the Florian, the leader of Oof. You know, he said he actually got legal advice, and the lawyer told him, yeah, one of those big deal albums, I feel like, to me. And the fact that the major label that they were signed to, like, they didn't get along, and like I mean, they got signed, and then like the label was like, we don't like what you're, and like we're not going to get behind this, we're not going to promote it, we're not going to. They were kind of, you know, and the band of course were like, no, we don't like you either. But they went to meetings and things and lots of suits and things, and what happened was with that record was that it did get released, but after they were dropped. So it was like part of the contract. It was just like part of the contract to just release this record. And so the record actually ended up in like only a few shops in Berlin. Only a few copies got out. It was it was on a major label. Only a few copies got out. And so from what I'm told, he said, "Oh, it might as well not have been released." So
Wow. That is.
yeah.
Oh.
Florian's got a lot of wonderful major label stories.
I mean, hearing stories like that is just like, do they even know what they're doing? Like,
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, why even sign them? Why sign them in the first place if you're not going to support them for their first record? You know,
What a waste of time and money. That's terrible. But at least you get to come along. What are we looking at? 30 years later now?
it's about, yeah, just about, yeah.
Wow. 30 years later, you get to re-release it.
It's so cool. It's so cool.
That is awesome.
I have a lot on the plate for the year, actually. Hako's coming back from After Dinner.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she was the principal songwriter and arranger and band leader. And we're going to be putting out a live EP that was recorded in 2002 or 2003 in
Oh, wow.
Boston, which is where I'm from. So, and where I live right now. So it's actually got that tie to my locality, which is really cool.
Wait, this live recording has just been sitting around for the last 20 years?
I believe someone sent her a mini disc of it recently. And so she had heard it and she was like, "Oh, this was with when I was playing with this kind of setup, and I had these instruments, and I did these songs and these arrangements, and this was the way I did things at that time." So it's a
Oh,
document of that of her, just the way she worked in a live setting at that point. I guess her live setup has changed over the years. It's definitely an encapsulation of a worldview, zeitgeist almost. I'm so excited to be putting that out too because I love working with her.
so where can everybody find you? Are you on Instagram, Twitter?
I'm pretty much in most of the larger social media networks. I'm on Facebook as Petridisch Music, facebook.com/Petridisch Music. I don't actually use the site personally, but sometimes I'll do it for like promotion or something.
Right.
Twitter, I am on there as Petridisch, at Petridisch. And Bandcamp, the Petridisch Bandcamp is petridisch.bandcamp.com. And the Fish Prince Bandcamp is Fish Prince Inc. Inc. at bandcamp.com.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
And so with both of your band camps, with Petridisch and Fish Prince, are there some releases that are on your Petridisch band camp that are not on Fish Prince?
A lot.
Oh, a lot?
Okay. A lot. Yeah, the Petridisch, I would say the Petridisch band, I mean, you kind of have to keep your eyes open in both places because I'll just forget to upload stuff to the Petridisch band camp. If it's on the Fish Prince band camp, it's like, okay, it's cool being there. But yeah, if people want to hear some of the stuff I've done in the past, and also like some one-off things, definitely the Bandcamp, the Petridisch Bandcamp is where to go.
Okay, and then the Fish Prince Bandcamp is where we can find more of your work, and then all the work of other artists that you're releasing. And you do tapes, you do CDs.
Yep.
And apparently you do mini disc as well.
Oh yeah. Mini disc is actually a big part of Fish Prince.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to tell me where I can find a mini disc player. I have no clue. Is that an eBay kind of thing?
It's an eBay kind of thing. Yeah, they don't make them anymore.
Damn.
It's so proprietary, and now it's not. The format's no longer being. The players aren't being made. The discs are still being made though. In Japan, they're still making blank discs, so that's good for me.
All those people with mini disc players already, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, Thor, thanks so much for joining us. Great to hear about what you got coming up on the label as well as your own personal projects. Like I said, brand new album is out on Mahorca on cassette for all of you cassette people like me. All right. Well, again, thanks for joining us, Thor. Great talking to you, and looking forward to everything else that Fish Prince has coming out this year.
Thanks for having me. It was really great talking to you too, Lars.
Oh, hey, no problem. Maybe we can do this again sometime later on in the year after you got some of these awesome releases you have come out.
That'd be great.
Maybe even that country album.
Really can't wait. Yeah.